For over 2,000 years across the cold northern regions of China, Manchuria, and Korea, families have stayed warm through winter nights using a heated platform called the Kang. This masonry bed platform system captures waste heat from cooking fires, stores that heat in thermal mass, and radiates warmth to sleeping occupants for 10 to 14 hours after fires burn out. The Kang eliminates the need for separate space heating equipment by integrating heating functions into the daily cooking and sleeping infrastructure that families already require. Modern households in the Kang's traditional range continue using these systems successfully alongside electric and gas heating options, demonstrating that the ancient approach remains competitive with contemporary alternatives in appropriate applications. The system's integration of cooking waste heat recovery, thermal storage, radiant heating delivery, and durable masonry construction represents sophisticated engineering that emerged through centuries of practical refinement by people working within available materials and labor constraints. Understanding Kang heating principles, construction approaches, and performance characteristics reveals lessons about integrated heating systems, thermal mass utilization, and waste heat recovery that apply broadly to contemporary energy efficiency challenges facing modern households. The Kang construction involves a raised masonry platform typically occupying a substantial portion of traditional Chinese homes, commonly measuring 6 to 12 feet long and 5 to 8 feet wide. The platform stands 18 to 24 inches above the floor, at heights comfortable for sitting and sleeping. Interior cavities within the platform create serpentine flue passages that conduct combustion gases from cooking fires through the platform mass before venting to chimney assemblies. The platform surface consists of brick or stone covered with traditional mats, fabric, or contemporary bedding materials. The substantial thermal mass of the platform, brick or stone, absorbs heat from passing combustion gases and releases that heat gradually to the sleeping surface and surrounding room air. The heat source for Kang operations traditionally comes from cooking fires that families require daily, regardless of space heating needs. The cooking appliance, often a wok stove located in an adjacent kitchen area, produces combustion gases that traditionally would exit directly through a chimney. The Kang system redirects these gases through the platform mass before they reach the chimney, capturing heat that otherwise would escape unused. The cooking activities that occur regularly throughout the day provide continuous heat input to the thermal mass, while the mass stores and releases heat even during periods when no cooking activities occur. This integration of cooking and heating functions eliminates separate space heating fuel consumption while providing comfortable sleeping conditions throughout cold winter nights. The engineering principles underlying Kang performance involve careful thermal mass sizing, flue passage design, and airflow management. The platform mass must be sufficient to store meaningful heat across extended periods between active fires, typically requiring 2,000 to 5,000 pounds of brick or stone. The flue passage geometry must provide enough surface area for effective heat transfer from gases to mass without creating excessive draft resistance that would impair combustion. The airflow management requires proper chimney draft to maintain combustion gas movement through the long horizontal flue passages without backdrafting into living spaces. Master Kang builders have developed proportional relationships between cooking appliance size, platform dimensions, flue geometry, and chimney height that produce reliable performance. Dr. Wei Liu, a traditional heating systems researcher at a Beijing university specializing in vernacular architecture, has documented Kang performance characteristics across rural northern Chinese communities. His measurements show that properly designed Kangs maintain sleeping surface temperatures of 75 to 95 degrees for 10 to 14 hours after cooking fires extinguish, providing comfortable sleeping conditions throughout cold winter nights without additional fuel consumption. The thermal efficiency of the combined cooking heating system substantially exceeds what separate appliances could achieve through elimination of redundant combustion and heat losses. The demonstrated performance validates the system design principles that developed through centuries of practical iteration. The social and cultural significance of Kangs extends beyond their mechanical heating function into family life patterns and household organization. Traditional Chinese families conduct much of their winter daily life on the heated Kang surface, including eating meals, socializing with guests, working on domestic crafts, and sleeping at night. The warm platform becomes the household's living center during cold months, with family members gathering on the Kang for warmth and companionship. Children often do their schoolwork on the Kang. Elderly family members find relief from arthritis pain through direct contact with the warm surface, and guests are honored with Kang seating during visits. This integration of heating with social space creates quality-of-life patterns that separate heating equipment cannot replicate. Master Chen Guoliang, a third-generation Kang builder from Heilongjiang Province who has constructed over 400 Kangs during his career, has preserved and transmitted traditional construction knowledge through formal apprenticeships. His instruction emphasizes that Kang construction requires understanding of combustion physics, airflow dynamics, masonry thermal properties, and proportional relationships between system components that cannot be reduced to simple formulas. Each installation requires adaptation to specific site conditions, cooking appliance characteristics, family use patterns, and local climate conditions. The craft knowledge he transmits through hands-on instruction represents intangible cultural heritage that written documentation alone cannot preserve completely. The regional variations in Kang design reflect adaptations to local conditions, available materials, and family preferences developed across the system's wide geographic range. Northeastern Chinese variants typically use substantial brick construction with elaborate flue geometries designed for severe winter conditions. Korean ondol variants, closely related to Kang technology, heat entire room floors rather than platform beds. Mongolian variants adapt the technology for use in permanent structures while maintaining traditional nomadic architectural preferences elsewhere. Manchurian variants incorporate distinctive details reflecting regional cultural traditions and family organization patterns. The diversity demonstrates the flexibility of the underlying principles while maintaining core functional characteristics across all variants. Contemporary research into Kang applications for modern housing has explored how traditional principles might inform energy-efficient design in broader contexts. Professor Yuki Tanaka, a building science researcher at a Japanese university examining traditional heating technologies, has analyzed whether Kang-style integrated cooking heating systems might offer advantages for contemporary homes in cold climates. His analysis suggests that modernized versions incorporating cleaner combustion appliances, improved flue geometry, and updated thermal mass materials could reduce household energy consumption by 30 to 50% compared to conventional separate cooking and heating systems. The research demonstrates that traditional principles retain relevance when adapted thoughtfully to contemporary technologies and standards. The environmental implications of Kang heating systems are notably favorable compared to typical separate heating approaches. The elimination of dedicated space heating fuel consumption reduces total household energy use substantially. The use of locally available biomass fuels, including agricultural waste, prunings, and small wood pieces, provides carbon-neutral heating when managed sustainably. The durable masonry construction lasts for generations without material replacement needs, avoiding the embedded energy costs of frequently replaced heating equipment. The passive radiant heating delivery requires no electricity for fans or controls, functioning reliably during power outages that disable conventional heating systems. These environmental characteristics align well with contemporary sustainability goals, despite the technology's ancient origins. Now, for the obstacles and limitations that affect Kang applications in contemporary contexts. First, the substantial space requirements within homes limit Kang applications to buildings designed to accommodate large masonry platforms. Contemporary homes designed around conventional furniture and heating equipment typically lack the floor space and structural capacity for Kang installations without major modifications. The space commitment represents a significant lifestyle choice that affects other household activities and room arrangements. Homeowners accustomed to conventional beds and separate sleeping rooms may find the integrated platform approach substantially different from expected living patterns. Second, the combustion emissions from traditional Kang cooking appliances can create indoor air quality concerns in contemporary homes with tight envelopes. Traditional rural homes with natural ventilation through gaps in construction provided air exchange that diluted combustion products. But contemporary energy-efficient homes may accumulate problematic emissions levels without attention to ventilation design. Addressing air quality through improved combustion appliances, dedicated ventilation systems, or similar measures adds complexity to contemporary Kang applications that traditional versions did not require. Third, the construction expertise requirements for successful Kang installation remain substantial in regions lacking traditional building traditions. The systems require masonry skills, combustion understanding, airflow design capability, and integration with building structural systems that general contractors typically lack. Finding qualified builders outside the traditional Kang region presents substantial challenges that increase project costs and risks. The expertise limitations often push contemporary interest toward modernized versions that conventional trades can install, rather than authentic traditional construction. Fourth, the regulatory approval challenges for non-standard heating systems complicate contemporary Kang installations in jurisdictions requiring specific equipment certifications. Most building codes assume conventional forced air or hydronic heating systems with certified equipment, creating compliance obstacles for integrated masonry systems. Obtaining permits for Kang installations may require engineering analysis, custom approvals from local authorities, or negotiation of code interpretations that add substantial project complexity and cost. Fifth, the cooking integration requirements create user experience considerations that modern households may find inconvenient. The Kang heating effectiveness depends on regular cooking activities throughout each day, which works well for traditional households preparing multiple daily meals from scratch, but fits poorly with contemporary lifestyles involving eating out, prepared foods, or minimal cooking. Households with irregular cooking patterns would find inadequate heat input during periods of reduced activity, compromising heating performance. Despite these contemporary challenges, Kang heating systems continue providing reliable comfort for millions of families across northern China and related regions, demonstrating that the technology remains viable within appropriate cultural and architectural contexts. The specific construction details that produce successful Kang performance reveal the sophistication embedded in traditional designs. The flue passage configuration typically involves a serpentine pattern, routing combustion gases through 15 to 25 linear feet of horizontal passage within the platform, maximizing heat transfer surface area while maintaining adequate draft. The passage cross-section dimensions balance heat transfer effectiveness against gas flow resistance, typically measuring 6 to 10 inches wide and 4 to 6 inches tall. The platform brick thickness above flue passages determines heat transfer rate to the sleeping surface, typically measuring 2 to 4 inches for optimal balance between responsiveness and heat storage. The chimney height diameter, and position must maintain adequate draft to pull combustion gases through the long flue passages reliably. Jianwei Hu, a civil engineer who has adapted Kang principles for contemporary Chinese apartment buildings as part of energy efficiency research programs, has documented successful applications integrating traditional concepts with modern construction. His projects use factory-manufactured combustion appliances meeting contemporary emission standards, flue systems incorporating modern ceramic components, and thermal mass utilizing contemporary masonry materials. The resulting systems provide traditional-style radiant heating comfort while meeting modern performance and safety expectations. The demonstrations validate that traditional principles translate effectively to contemporary contexts when appropriate technology updates accompany the adaptation. The economic analysis of Kang systems in their traditional context reveals favorable characteristics that explain their persistent use despite availability of modern alternatives. The initial construction cost involves primarily materials and skilled labor, with brick, stone, mortar, and flue materials representing moderate investments within traditional economic contexts. The operational cost consists entirely of fuel already required for cooking activities, eliminating separate heating fuel expenses. The maintenance requirements are minimal across decades of use, requiring occasional flue cleaning and surface repair rather than equipment replacement. The operational lifespan extends to generations rather than decades, providing heating services across multiple family generations from single initial investments. These economic characteristics remain competitive with contemporary heating alternatives in appropriate applications. The comparison between Kang heating systems and contemporary radiant floor heating illustrates conceptual continuities despite substantial technological differences. Both approaches deliver heat through warmed surfaces radiating to room occupants, providing comfortable thermal environments at lower air temperatures than convective heating approaches require. Both integrate heating infrastructure into building construction for durable long-term performance. Both require substantial initial investment but provide operational advantages across extended service lives. The conceptual similarities suggest that traditional Kang principles anticipated approaches that contemporary building science has rediscovered and refined using modern materials and installation methods. Li Xiaomei, an architectural historian specializing in northern Chinese vernacular architecture, has documented how Kang systems have influenced regional building traditions across centuries. Her research shows that homes throughout the Kang region developed distinctive spatial organizations centered on platform heating locations with kitchen placement, bedroom arrangements, and daily activity patterns, all adapted to the heating system characteristics. The buildings evolved to support the integrated heating approach rather than treating heating as separate from architectural design. The research illustrates how heating technology choices shape building culture broadly beyond narrow mechanical system considerations. The health impacts of Kang sleeping traditionally attract attention from practitioners of traditional Chinese medicine who identify specific therapeutic effects from radiant heat exposure during sleep. The gentle warmth penetrating from below provides relief for arthritis, back pain, circulation problems, and similar conditions common among older populations. The stable temperature environment throughout the night prevents the temperature fluctuations that can disturb sleep quality in homes with intermittent heating. The absence of forced air circulation eliminates dust dispersal that affects respiratory health in homes with conventional air-moving heating systems. These health characteristics contribute to the cultural value attached to traditional Kang sleeping beyond pure heating efficiency considerations. The fuel sources used in traditional Kang operations reveal another dimension of the system's integration with local ecology and agricultural practices. Crop residues from millet, corn and wheat harvests provide substantial portions of Kang fuel in agricultural regions where these crops dominate production. Pruning residues from orchards and vineyards contribute additional fuel during appropriate seasons. Small branches and deadfall collected from nearby forests and windbreaks supplement agricultural residues when available. The diverse fuel portfolio avoids dependence on any single source, creating resilience against supply disruptions while utilizing biomass that would otherwise decompose without productive use. The integration of Kang fuel requirements with agricultural waste streams represents a circular economy concept that predates the modern terminology by millennia. Wang Jinghua, a rural development researcher documenting traditional energy systems across northeastern China, has analyzed how Kang heating patterns integrate with farming calendars in sustainable ways. Her field documentation shows that autumn harvest activities generate fuel reserves that sustain winter Kang operations without depleting forest resources. The spring activities of pruning and clearing contribute additional fuel reserves for shoulder season operations. The seasonal matching of fuel availability with heating demand demonstrates how Kang systems integrate with agricultural cycles to create sustainable energy flows that function reliably across years without resource depletion. The research illuminates patterns that contemporary sustainable energy planning seeks to recreate through deliberate system design. The thermal comfort characteristics provided by Kang heating differ substantially from forced air alternatives in ways that occupants consistently prefer. The radiant warmth emerging from the heated platform creates comfortable conditions at lower air temperatures than convective heating requires, reducing energy needs while improving comfort. The heated platform surface provides immediate tactile warmth that occupants experience directly through contact, producing satisfying warmth sensations that room air heating cannot match. The absence of air movement eliminates the chilling effects that drafts produce even in adequately heated spaces. The stable temperature environment throughout extended time periods avoids the temperature fluctuations that cycling conventional heating systems produce. These comfort advantages explain the cultural preference for Kang systems that persists alongside availability of modern alternatives. The maintenance requirements for Kang systems across extended operational lifespans prove remarkably modest compared to conventional heating equipment. Periodic flue cleaning removes accumulated soot and ash that could impair airflow, typically performed annually during warm months when heating is not needed. Surface repairs address minor cracking or wear that develops across years of use, requiring simple mortar repairs by local masons. Major renovations occur rarely, typically every several decades when overall system performance begins showing age-related decline. The minimal ongoing investment required to maintain Kang performance across generations represents dramatic contrast with conventional heating equipment requiring frequent professional service, part replacements, and eventual complete replacement. The durability characteristics contribute substantially to the favorable lifetime economics of traditional Kang installations. Consider what Kang technology represents within the broader context of human heating innovation across history. The integration of cooking waste heat recovery, thermal mass storage, radiant heat delivery, and durable construction demonstrates sophisticated engineering principles that emerge through centuries of practical refinement. The systems provide reliable comfort using modest fuel inputs by maximizing the utility extracted from each fuel unit through multiple simultaneous applications. The approach embeds heating infrastructure within building construction for durability measured in generations rather than the decades typical of contemporary mechanical equipment. The delivered heating quality through radiant surfaces provides comfort characteristics that modern research validates as superior to convective alternatives for many applications. The continued use across millions of contemporary households demonstrates enduring practical value that modern alternatives have not displaced despite their technological advances. The lessons embedded in Kang design about integration, thermal mass, waste heat recovery, and durable construction apply broadly to contemporary building science challenges. Chinese government energy programs have recognized the continuing value of Kang technology and have supported improvements rather than replacement across rural heating modernization efforts. The programs provide subsidies for improved combustion appliances that produce fewer emissions while maintaining the traditional heating system that families prefer. The approach preserves cultural continuity while addressing environmental concerns, contrasting with alternative strategies that would replace traditional systems entirely with imported technology. The pragmatic policy recognizes that technology suited to local conditions and cultural patterns often outperforms alternatives designed for different contexts. The preservation and improvement pathway that Chinese programs demonstrate offers lessons for other regions managing traditional technology transitions. The approach recognizes that genuine sustainability often involves building on existing practices that have proven reliable rather than replacing working systems with alternatives requiring entirely new supply chains, expertise, and cultural adaptation. The craft knowledge embedded in traditional Kang construction represents intangible cultural heritage that deserves preservation alongside physical artifacts. Master builders who understand the proportional relationships, construction sequences, and troubleshooting knowledge accumulated across generations represent living repositories of engineering wisdom. Documentation programs recording their practices, apprenticeship systems transmitting their skills to younger generations, and research programs analyzing their work all contribute to preserving knowledge that oral tradition alone might lose. The preservation efforts benefit not just the specific Kang technology, but also broader understanding of how traditional craftspeople developed sophisticated engineering solutions within resource-constrained contexts using empirical refinement across extended time periods. These methodologies retain relevance for contemporary innovation challenges where iterative refinement through practical experience may produce insights that purely analytical approaches miss. The question isn't whether traditional Kang systems should replace modern heating equipment in contemporary American homes. The question is, what principles from this 2,000-year tradition might inform better approaches to residential heating in other contexts? The answers involve recognizing value in integrated systems that combine multiple functions, appreciating thermal mass utilization that stabilizes indoor conditions across time, understanding waste heat recovery that maximizes utility from every fuel input, and respecting traditional knowledge that emerged through practical refinement across generations. For anyone interested in heating technology, building science, or the intersection between traditional knowledge and contemporary challenges, studying Kang systems provides valuable perspective that informs better thinking about residential energy applications broadly.